What if we're getting this all wrong? What if we're getting it all backwards? Look, the world is a confusing place right now, but I don't think it has to be. I think the solution is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. We've created a culture where being yourself isn't enough anymore. You have to be something, labeled, loud, extreme, just to feel seen. And I get it, I really do. But society, we've created that pressure. And we need to take accountability for it, I think. We've punished difference. For example, back in school, boys were always bullied for being soft. Girls were ridiculed for being strong or not looking a certain way. You know what I mean? Even down to the trainers that you wear. We taught people that who they were wasn't safe, so they built identities to survive. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And it's no surprise to me that these people seek out groups, movements, and even labels that offer a sense of belonging, because belonging feels like peace. But here's the catch. If who you've become is based on fear and not truth, then that peace is borrowed and you're gonna have to give it back. And that's why I think a lot of people reach their goal or their destination and then they're not happy. Then they try to change the world to fit around them instead, because now it's not just about them having their piece of the pie. They want to change everyone else's. And that's where I think we're getting it wrong. Not everything should be accepted. Not every ideology, not every lifestyle, not every demand is healthy. Some of it, let's be honest, is just unresolved pain dressed up as pride. And the fact is, not everyone is beautiful. They can't be. Not everyone is fast. Not everyone is strong. Not everyone is smart. Not everyone is academically smart. Not everyone has common sense. And that's okay. And that's what makes us different. Not everyone can be a king. Not everyone can be a queen. I don't see people out here saying, I want to be a real life king, because it's not possible. But still, we want to feel that way. And I just think that's where we're getting it wrong. Whilst I will always respect everyone's right to live their life freely, I will never support tearing down others in order to do it. As I said, taking your piece of the pie doesn't mean stabbing holes in everyone else's. It's your piece of the pie of life. That's yours. Your equal right, and you deserve that. But if you take in your slice of pie, right from the center of the pie that affects everybody else's, that's not empowerment. That's being a dickhead. You know it and everyone else knows it. But look, I'm not here to create another problem. I'm here with a genuine solution of what I think is a solution. Instead of shaming people for how they cope, why don't we get to the root? You know, why don't we look at the fear that made them change in the first place? Why don't we take accountability, not as individuals, but as a community, for creating a world that made them feel unsafe for just being themselves? Because I truly believe this. You don't have to be extreme to matter. You don't have to reinvent yourself or have a glow up to be worthy. You just have to be honest. Look, there's no one like you. Not now, not ever. And if you spend your life pretending, if you hide behind a version of yourself just to feel accepted, you don't just lose your truth. I think you lose your life. Because maybe, just maybe, your real self could have changed the world. But even more than that, it could have finally changed yours. If this reached you, even if it triggered you, let me know. I'd like to know your views. Write down in the comments. But I do have an ask. Just one thing. It's not a product. It's not a promise. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's a principle. It's to be brave, be honest, and be you. The version that you were before the world told you to be anything else. Because truly, that's where your power is. And I think that's where the healing is, if that's what you're looking for. And ultimately, I think that's how we move forward from this, but together. Welcome to the tribe.